should be okay. Yeah, if there's any other ones, I'll pull them out and give them to you. Om Shri Padmatmani Namaham. Namaste devotees and Jai Sita Ram. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to our Sunday morning satsang this beautiful but very, very cold November 13th, 2022. As we commence with our prayers for today, devotees, I'm going to go ahead and have you guys actually stand up for me for now. Take a flower or two after you stood up. As we join together as we begin with our Sunday morning satsang, devotees, I ask that we join together as we clasp our hands and we close our eyes. As we prepare our bodies for puja, we take a deep breath in, fill your lungs all the way to the top, and as you exhale, relax your spine, drop your shoulders, relax your neck, your forehead, your entire body. With your eyes closed, at this time focus on a form of Bhagavan that's most pleasing to you. One that helps you concentrate, one that helps you focus, and join together with me as we chant the opening prayers. Om Hari Om Hari Om Hari Om Hari Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnata Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Ishavasyam midam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tektena bhunjitha magrudha kasya svidhanam Om sahana vavatu sahana bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahe tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahe Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. We offer prayers to Prithvi Mata as we bless and sanctify the seat unto which we sit. Om Samutra Vasane Devi Parvatastane Mandite Vishnu Patni Namastubyam Padasparasham Kshamasvame Om Prithvi Tvaya Drata Lokam Devi Tvam Vishnu Nadratham Tvam Chadharya Mam Devi Pavitram Kuruchasanam Om Shri Prithvi Devaya Namaham. Place your flower down on the altar and take your seat. Mom, could you hand us the paper towels, please? I'm sorry. You're going to take some water in your right hand and wash your hands. Om Hasta Prakshaladam Samarpayami Govindaya Namaham. Good. We sip water 3 times to purify the body. Om Amrito Pastarnamasi Swaha. Om Amrita Pidhanamasi Swaha. Om Satyam Yashaha Shri Mai Shri Shrayatam Swaha. We wash our hands again. Om apavitra pavitrava sarvashtam gatopiva yahasmerita pundarikaksham sabhayabhyam tarashuchi Om chandanasya mahatpunyam pavitram papanashanam aparam harate nityam lakshmistishtate sarvada. Can I get a paper towel please, Sister Prem? Thank you. We take some water in our left hand now as we commence with Ang Sparish as we bless the various parts of our body. It's left hand. Om Wang Mea CS2. We ask, O Lord, and by thy grace may my tongue be ever blessed with the power of speech. Om Nasor Me Pran Nurastu. We ask, O Lord, and may my nostrils be blessed with healthy, vital air. Om Akshora Me Chakshurastu. We ask, O Lord, and may my eyes be blessed with the perfect power of vision. Om Kanyor Me Shrotamastu. We ask, O Lord, may my ears be blessed with the power of hearing. Om Bahor Me Balamastu. We ask, O Lord, may my arms be blessed with strength. Om Udhor Me Onjavastu. We ask, O Lord, may my legs be blessed with vitality. Om Marishtani Mi Angani Tanustanava Me Sahasantu. We ask, O Lord, may all the other parts of my body be safe from harm, rendering them healthy and sound for life's daily work. I want you to go ahead and take flowers in your hands. Any color is fine. And devotees, we all join together now as we commence enchanting the most powerful Gayatri Mantra. Om Magakshe Devi Akshari Brahmavadini Gayatri Jagat Madhar Vishwayoni Namostude Om Bhure Bhuva Swam Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhure Bhuva Swam Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhure Bhuva Swam Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Hari Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Prem se bolo Gayatri Mata ki jai. Place your flowers down on the altar and take some red flowers in our hands next. We join together as we offer prayers and obediences to that remover, destroyer, but also creator of all obstacles in our life. We offer prayers to Lord Ganesh. Om Shri Ganganapataye Namaham. Om Yajananam Bhutanganadi Sevitam Kapita Jammu Palachara Bhakshanam Om Asutam Shoka Vinashakarakam Namami Viganeshwara Pada Pankajam Namami Viganeshwara Pada Pankajam. At this time, devotees, I ask that the Kirtan group renders one bhajan dedicated to Lord Ganesh as we commence with our puja up front at this time.
Nisidin Namo Ganapati Charan. Nisidin Namo Ganapati Charan. Ganapati Charan Jagadukha Haran. Ganapati Charan Jagadukha Haran. Nisidin Namo Ganapati Charan. Nisidin Namo Ganapati Charan. संताप सब मन की हरे मंगल सदा गणपति करे संताप सब मन की हरे मंगल सदा गणपति करे मन कर रहा प्रातः स्मरण निस्दिन नमो गणपति चरण निस्दिन नमो गणपति चरण बल बुद्धि के तुम देवता भर भक्ति हृदय सेवता बल बुद्धि के तुम देवता भर भक्ति हृदय सेवता शंकर सुवन तारा तरन निस्दिन नमो गणपति चरण निस्दिन नमो गणपति चरण तुम्हारी कृपा बेअंत है दोनों पे तू दयावंत है निसदिन नमो गणपति चरण गणपति चरण जग दुख हरन गणपति चरण जग दुख हरन निसदिन नमो गणपति चरण निसदिन नमो गणपति चरण निसदिन नमो गणपति चरण.
At this time, devotees, as we all join together as we offer our final pratana, our final prayers to Lord Ganesh. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirviganam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Om Raksha Raksha Ganadhaksha Raksha Trilokya Rakshakar Bhaktanam Bhayam Kartha Trata Bhava Bhavananavar Om Shriman Mahaganadipataye Namah Prem se Bolo Ganesh Bhagwan ki Jai. Gonna place the flowers on for Lord Ganesh. Go ahead and take some yellow flowers in your hands next. Devotees, we join together as we offer prayers to that mother of knowledge, that mother of learning in this universe. We join together as we offer prayers to Mother Saraswati. Om Maha Saraswati Namah. Om Saraswati Mahabhagi Vidye Kamala Lochane Vidyarupe Vishalakshi Vidyam Nehi Namostute. Om Saraswati Namastobhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambam Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Om Maha Saraswati Namah. Place your flowers down in front of Mother Saraswati. Devotees, I wanted to give you all a piece of knowledge as Sister Priya and Ashana were sitting down here. I talked to this about them at one of their pujas before. I know it's funny that we buy these lighters and like people are like, oh, those are really cool. There's 3 reasons I use this lighter. Reason number 1, I don't have to use camphor. When you use camphor, camphor produces smoke. I know how we all feel about smoke in our nice white walls, so I don't like producing smoke. 2, it lights the diyas easier. So instead of me lighting them and having to worrying about them going out, they don't go out. You guys see every time we light a diya, it doesn't go out when you use one of these. 3, do you know the number 1 reason I don't use matches for? Well, you do. You're not allowed to answer. You too. Anybody in this family is not allowed to answer. The tip of a matchstick is bound together with something that we shouldn't be consuming, and that substance is known as gelatin. Gelatin is made out of either the fat or the bone or the char or the marrow of an animal. And so if we don't eat it, I don't understand why we would ignite it and use it as a burner in our religious rituals. So matchsticks, it doesn't matter what brand. I don't know if they make gelatin-free ones. It's pretty much one of the main binders that holds all those phosphorus together. They all contain gelatin. So to talk about the path of righteousness or dharmic rule, if we're going to do things appropriately, like eat cheese that doesn't have rennet or ensure that we're not consuming gelatin, we shouldn't be using those products when we do our everyday puja. Same reasons we buy plain yogurt that doesn't have, I think some yogurts have gelatin in it too, right? So just a knowledge bomb for you all. I wouldn't be doing due justice if I didn't say Mother Saraswati prayer and then drop a little bit of knowledge as to why we buy these. Cheap. These are $5 on Amazon. All you have to do is buy the refills. They'll last you almost maybe like 2 or 3 years. If the flint goes out, it goes out. So that's just my knowledge for all of you. Get rid of your matches and go buy a lighter. Okay? I don't do it because I collect them. I do it because it's right. So go ahead and take some pink flowers in your hands for me. Speaking of the lighter, I'm going to have you take the lighter, Sister Priya, and as I start the prayer, you're going to light this diya here. As we offer prayers to that mother of light, that mother of prosperity in this universe, we join together as we offer prayers to Lakshmi Mata. Go ahead. Om Lakshmi Karotu Kalyanam Arogyam Dana Sampada Mama Shatru Vinashaya Deepa Jyotir Namostute Om Namaste Astu Mahamai Shri Pite Sirapujite Shankha Chakra Gara Haste Mahalakshmi Namostute Om Namaste Garura Rudhe Ola Sura Bhayankari Sarva Papa Hari Devi Mahalakshmi Namostute ॐ सर्वज्ञे सर्ववरदे सर्वदुष्टभयङ्करे सर्वदुःखहरे देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तुते ॐ सिद्धिं बुद्धिं प्रदे देवी भुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदायिनी मन्त्रमूर्ते सदा देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तुते ॐ आद्यन्तर्हते देवी आदिशक्ति महेश्वरी योगं जे योगसम्भूते महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तुते ॐ स्थूलसूक्ष्ममहारौद्रे महाशक्ति महोदरे महापापहरे देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तुते ॐ पद्मासनस्थिते देवी परब्रह्मस्वरूपिणी परमेशी जगन्ने मातार महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तुते ॐ श्वेताम्बरधरे देवी नानालंकार भूषिते जगतस्थिते जगन्मातार महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तुते महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तुते ॐ महालक्ष्मी नमः. You're going to take your flowers, place in front of the diya right here, and then you'll take some yellow flowers in your hands next. Devotees, we join together as we offer prayers to that universal mother and that destroyer of all evils in our life. We offer prayers and obediences to Adi Shakti and Durga Mata. Mahadurgaya Namaham. Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhandra Kali Kapalini Durgakshama Shivadhatri Swahaswadha Namostute Jai Tvam Devi Chamunde Jai Putarte Niharani Jai Saravagate Devi Kale Ratri Namostute Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Vishnu Mayeti Shamnita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Buddhi-rupena sanstitha Namastasye 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 Namo Namah Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lakshmi-rupena sanstitha Namastasye 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 Namo Namah Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lakshakti-rupena sanstitha Namastasye 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 Namo Namah Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shraddha-rupena sanstitha Namastasye 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 Namo Namah Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti-rupena sanstitha Namastasye 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 Namo Namah Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Pushti-rupena sanstitha Namastasye 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 Namo Namah Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Daya-rupena sanstitha Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. As we pray to Mother Durga devotees, so say, O Durga Mata, thou art the universal mother, and we, your children, worship you in your many forms. O Ma, we see you as Buddhi, wisdom, Lakshmi, prosperity, Shakti, energy, Shraddha, faith, Shanti, peace, Tushti, contentment, and Daya, compassion. And as we pray to you, Ma, Namastasye, 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 Namo Namah, as we pray to you, Ma, we bow to thee again and again. Devotees, we join together as we offer prayers to Mother Durga in the form of the universal mother, the Matri Rupe. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matri Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah Dehi Saubhagyam Arogyam Dehi Me Paramam Sukham Rupam Dehi Jayam Dehi Yasho Dehi Vishojahi. At this time, devotees, I request that we have 2 bhajans dedicated to the Universal Mothers from the Kirtan group as we commence with our puja offering.
तुम विनती सुनो सबकी, कल्याण करो जग का। तुम विनती सुनो सबकी, कल्याण करो जग का। सतराधिका करके उदार करो दुर्गा, उदार करो दुर्गा। तुम विनती सुनो सबकी, कल्याण करो जग का। सतराधिका करके उदार करो दुर्गा, उदार करो दुर्गा। दर्शन हो माँ तेरे, सबकी अभिलाषा है। मन में रहो तुम सबके, तुमसे यही आशा है। दर्शन हो माँ तेरे, सबकी अभिलाषा है। मन में रहो तुम सबके, तुमसे यही आशा है। क्या मेरा क्या उसका, ये अपना पराया का। सब ज्योति जला करके रोशन करो जग सारा, रोशन करो जग सारा। तुम विनती सुनो सबकी, कल्याण करो जग का। सतराधिका करके उदार करो दुर्गा, उदार करो दुर्गा। संसार तुम्हारा है, कभी धूप कभी छाया है। एक दिन उसे जाना है, जो भी आया है। संसार तुम्हारा है, कभी धूप कभी छाया है। एक दिन उसे जाना है, जो भी आया है। क्या रंग में जीवन का रूप है माधव का। तुम गान भरा करके उपकार करो दुर्गा, उपकार करो दुर्गा। तुम विनती सुनो सबकी, कल्याण करो जग का। सतराधिका करके उदार करो दुर्गा, उदार करो दुर्गा। तुम विनती सुनो सबकी।
हे महालक्ष्मी माँ, हे महालक्ष्मी माँ, हे महालक्ष्मी माँ। आई शरण तेरे रख लाज मेरे, आई शरण तेरे रख लाज
yellow flower in your hands. Prem se bolo Saraswati Mata ki jai, Prem se bolo Lakshmi Mata ki jai, Prem se bolo Adi Shakti Durga Mata ki jai. Place your flowers down right here in front of Mother Durga. Alright, and take some, don't take these ones yet, but take some reddish color flowers in your hands. At this time, devotees, we join together as we offer prayers to the most influential beings in our life. We offer prayers to the Navgraha Devata, or as we refer to them in English, the 9 planets. Om Navgraha Devataya Namah. Dharamha Murari Sripuran Kari Vanu Shashibu Misuto Bodhascha Guruscha Shukra Shanira Ketu Sarve Graha Shanti Kara Bhavantu Sarve Graha Shanti Kara Bhavantu.
Aye Namah, Aye Namah, Surya Devata, Aye Namah, Aye Namah, Aye Namah, Surya Devata, Aye Namah, Aye Namah, Aye Namah, Surya Devata, Aye Namah. Chandrama Devata, Aye Namah, Dham Devata, Aye Namah, Buddhi Devata, Aye Namah, Brihaspati Devata, Aye Namah, Shukra Devata, Aye Namah, Shanishchara Devata, Aye Namah, Rahu Devata, Aye Namah, Ketu Devata, Aye Namah, Aye Namah, Aye Namah, Surya Devata, Aye Namah, Aye Namah, Aye Namah, Surya Devata, Aye Namah, Adi Devata, Aye Namah, Surya Devata, Aye Namah, Aye Namah, Aye Namah, Surya Devata, Aye Namah, Adi Devata, Aye Namah, Surya Devata, Aye Namah, Adi Devata, Aye Namah.
Pritufalam Samarapayami. Om. And then we just sprinkle some water on 3 times. Om Sarva Papa Haram Divyam Gangeyam Nirmalam Jalam Achmanamaya Raktam Grihitam Purushottamam. Om Nagraha Devataye Namo Namah. Om Achmanim Samarapayami. Go ahead and take some red flowers in hands. Devotees, with today being Sunday, also known as the Ravivar, we join together as we offer obediences to that being that exists in the form of the sun and that's the standard of all life on this planet. We offer praise to Surya Narayan Bhagavan. Om Suryaya Namaha. 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 Adideva Namastubhyam Prasiddham Mama Bhaskaram Divakar Namastubhyam Prabhakar Namostute Suryaya Namaha. Suryaya Namaha. Suryaya Namaha. Suryaya Namaha. Om Prem se Bolo Navgraha Devata ki Jai. Prem se Bolo Surya Narayan Bhagavan ki Jai. Place the flowers out in front of Surya Narayan Bhagavan. And then we take some yellow flowers in our hands. Devotees, we join together as we offer prayers now that sustainer of all things dharmic, all things righteous in this universe. We offer prayers to Lord Vishnu. Om Shri Vishnuve Namaha. Om Shantakaram Bhujagashayaram Padmanabham Surisham Vishwadharam Gagan Sadrasham Megavaranam Shubhagam Om Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Bhira Dhyana Gamyam Vande Vishnu Bhavabhaya Haram Sarvaloke Kanatham Om Sashanka Chakram Sakhiritha Kundhalam Sapita Vastram Sarasirudhekshanam Sahara Vakshasthal Shomikostu Bhashriyam Namami Vishnu Shirasa Chaturbhujam Namami Vishnu Shirasa Chaturbhujam. We offer prayers to the feminine incarnation Lord Vishnu devotees. We join together as we offer prayers to Lord Rama. Om Ramaya Ramabhandraya Ramachandraya Vidhise Raghunataya Nataya Sitaya Pataye Namah. We offer prayers to Mother Sita. Om Jagatasutha Jagajanani Janaki Atashaya Priya Karunani Danaki Taki Chukapada Kamal Manao Jasu Kripa Niramal Mati Pao. We offer prayers to Hanuman Swami. Om Manojumam Maratulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhi Matam Varishtam Vatatmajam Nirayothamukyam Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapati Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapati. And finally, devotees, we join together as we offer prayers to the eighth incarnation of Lord Vishnu. We offer prayers to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Om Dharare Vinne Naparara Bindam Mukhara Vinne Vinivishrayantam Vatasya Patrasya Puti Shrayanam Balam Mukundam Manasasmaram Balam Mukundam Manasasmaram. Om Krishna Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Mukham Karoti Vachalam Bhanghum Nangayati Girim Yat Kripatamaham Mane Paramananda Madhavam. Om Vasudevam Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. At this time, devotees, I request that we have 2 or 3 bhajans dedicated to Lord Vishnu, Lord Ram, Lord Krishna, Mother Sita, Hanuman Swami as we commence with our puja of form.
Tvameva Mata च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविडं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव जिनके हृदय श्री राम बसे उन और को नाम लियो न लियो जिनके हृदय श्री राम बसे उन और को नाम लियो न लियो जिनके हृदय श्री राम सिकाया कोई मांग रहा प्रभु से माया कोई मांगे कंचन सिकाया कोई मांग रहा प्रभु से माया कोई पुण्य करे कोई दान करे कोई दान करो से बकाम करे जिन कन्या धन को दान दियो जिन कन्या धन को दान
ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गए मगन ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गए मगन वो तो कली कली हरि गुण गाने लगे ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गए मगन वो तो कली कली हरि गुण गाने लगे ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गए मगन ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गए मगन वो तो गली गली हरि गुण गाने लगे महलों में पली और बनकी जोगन चली महलों में पली बनकी जोगन चली मेरा रानी दीवानी कहानी लगी ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गए मगन कोई रोके नहीं कोई टोके नहीं मेरा गोविंद गोपाल गाने लगी कोई रोके नहीं कोई टोके नहीं मेरा गोविंद गोपाल गाने लगी बेटी संतों की संग रंगी मोहन की रंग मेरा प्रेमी प्रीतम को मनाने लगी वो तो गली गली हरि गुण गाने लगी ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गए मगन वो तो गली गली हरि गुण गाने लगी बनकी जोगन चली मेरा रानी दीवानी कहानी लगी ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गए मगन राणा ने विष दिया मनो अमृत पिया मेरा सागर में सरिता समाने लगी राणा ने विष दिया मनो अमृत पिया मेरा सागर में सरिता समाने लगी तो कला को सही मुख से गोविंद कही मेरा गोविंद गोपाल गाने लगी वो तो गली गली हरि गुण गाने लगी ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गए मगन वो तो गली गली हरि गुण गाने लगी महलों में पली और बनकी जोगन चली महलों में पली और बनकी जोगन चली मेरा रानी दीवानी कहानी लगी ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गए मगन ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गए मगन ऐसी लागी लगन मेरा हो गए मगन
प्रेम से बोलो विष्णु भगवान की जय प्रेम से बोलो श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय प्रेम से बोलो सीता माता की जय प्रेम से बोलो हनुमान स्वामी की जय प्रेम से बोलो कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय Take this purple-ish. I'm a boy, so they're purple. Take the purple flowers in your hands. And devotees, we join together now as we offer prayers to thy universal Father, thy universal Guru, As we offer prayers to that destroyer of all evils in our life and in this universe, we join together as we offer prayers to the Lord Shiva. Harunavadharam Sansarasaram Bhujagendraharam Saram Santam Hirdayardavinde Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. You're going to take your flowers, you're going to go place them on the lingam, and Mahendra will show you all how to do the puja over on the lingam up front. Brahmamurari surarchitalingam Nirmalbhasita shomhitalingam Janamajadukha vinashakalingam Tat pranamami sada shivalingam Tat pranamami sada shivalingam Brahmamurari surarchitalingam Nirmalbhasita shomhitalingam Janamajadukha vinashakalingam Tat pranamami sada shivalingam Tat pranamami sada shivalingam Deva शिवसन्निधौ शिवलोकमवाप्नुरतिर् शिवेन सह मूर्ति ॐ नमः शिवाय।
ॐ नमः शिवाय। ॐ नमः शिवाय। ॐ नमः शिवाय। शिव पूजा में मन लीन रहे, मेरा मस्तक हो और द्वार तेरा मिट जाए जन्मों की कृष्णा, दिल बोले शंकर प्यार तेरा, प्यार तेरा। ओम शिव पूजा में मन लीन रहे, मेरा मस्तक हो और द्वार तेरा मिट जाए जन्मों की कृष्णा, मिले भोले शंकर प्यार तेरा, प्यार तेरा। है
Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Hari Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Devotees, we all for this next prayer for all those suffering from various illnesses, diseases, injuries, and ailments. We ask that they may have a fast, speedy, and full recovery. We also offer prayer for those transitioning from this world to the next. May the passage be a smooth and tranquil one. Om Yajame Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiv Bandhanat Mrityurmukshiyumamrutat. Om Trayambakam Yajame Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiv Bandhanat Mrityurmukshiyumamrutat. Om Trayambakam Yajame Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiv Bandhanat Mrityurmukshiyumamrutat. Om Yangarapate Namaha. Om Kartiki Namaha. Om Nandishwaraya Namaha. Om Vasuki Namaha. Om Shri Samba Sada Shivaya Namaha. Prem se bolo Shiva Shankara Bhagwane ki jai. Devotees, for all of us who have a guru, we offer prayer to our guru. If not, we take Lord Shiva or any devata in our mind as the universal guru as we join together in prayer. Om Guru da Brahma, Guru da Vishnu, Guru da Deo Maheshwara, Guru da Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Dhyana Moolam Guru da Murti, Puja Moolam Guru Param, Mantra Moolam Guru Vakyam, Moksha Moolam Guru Kripar, Prince Guru Deo ki jai. Devotees, for all those who have prasad at Charawe, I ask that you please come forth at this time. Terapu, could you take a piece? If you don't have one, take one and give to. Never mind. Auntie Drew did it. All right. We hold a prasad in both hands as we join together in offering these following prayers. Om Naivedyam Grihitam Deva Bhakti Nechalam Kuru Ipsitam Evaram Nehi Paratreha Parangatim Om Miram Palam Maya Deva Stapitam Purtastava Tena Me Sapalavaptir Bhavat Janmani Janmani Om Sarva Papa Haram Divyam Gangeyam Nirmalam Jalam Achmanam Maya Raktam Grihetam Purushottamam. Offer your prasad to the altar. Jack. devotees, may we all join together now as we commence in chanting our Hawan mantras. Let's wait for a second. Good. Om Agni Mili Purohitam Yagyasya Devamretwajam Otaram Ratnadhatamam Agni Devaya Namaham. Alright, we offer both the samagri and the ghee. Om Prajapate Swaha Iram Prajapate Ram Namama Om Indraya Swaha Iram Indraya Iram Namama Om Aganaye Swaha Iram Aganaye Iram Namama Om Somaya Swaha Iram Somaya Iram Namama Om Bho Swaha Iram Aganaye Iram Namama Om Bhuva Swaha Iram Vayu Iram Namama Om Swaha Swaha Iram Suryaya Iram Namama Om Suryaya Namaha Swaha Iram Suryaya Iram Namama Om Chandraya Namaha Swaha Iram Chandraya Iram Namama Om Bhaumaya Namaha Swaha Iram Bhaumaya Iram Namama Om Buddhaya Namaha Swaha Iram Buddhaya Iram Namama Om Brihaspati Namaha Swaha Iram Brihaspati Iram Namama Om Shukraya Namaha Swaha Iram Shukraya Iram Namama Om Shanishcharaya Namaha Swaha Iram Shanishcharaya Iram Namama Om Rahave Namaha Swaha Iram Rahave Iram Namama Om Ketave Namaha Swaha Iram Ketave Iram Namama Om Ganeshaya Namaha Swaha Om Mahagauriye Namaha Om Mahasaraswati Namaha Swaha Om Mahalakshmiye Namaha Swaha Om Mahadurgaye Namaha Swaha Om Gurave Namaha Swaha Om Brahmane Namaha Swaha Om Vishnave Namaha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Ramaya Namaha Om Sitaye Namaha Om Hanumate Namaha Om Krishnaya Namaha Om Shivaya Namaha Om Sarvebhyo Devebhyo Namaha. For this one we say for our ancestors, so we say Swadaha. Om Sarvebhyo Pitribhyo Namaha Swadaha. Om Bhure Bhuvaswam Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhure Bhuvaswam Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhure Bhuvaswam Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Take everything together. Please stand as we commence with Puranahuti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnata Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Muranam Yuvaratim Pritibha Viswanaram Vrita Achatam Aganim Bhavigvam Samrajatitim Jananam Asana Patram Janayamti Deva Swaha. Om Sarvam Gwe Puranagvam Swaha. Om Sarvam Gwe Puranagvam Swaha. Om Sarvam Gwe Puranagvam Swaha. We take blessings from Agni Devata. Om Dhanapagani Asi Tanva Me Pahi. Om Aryoragani Sadyor Me Dehi. Om Varachoragani Si Varacho Me Dehi. Om Agneyanve Tanva Oradam Tanma Pruna. Om Tejosi Tejamai Dehi. Om Viryamasi Viryamai Dehi. Om Balamasi Balamai Dehi. Om Ojosi Ojamai Dehi. Om Manyurasi Manyumai Dehi. Om Sahosi Sahumai Dehi. Om Shanti Rastu, Pushti Rastu, Vriddhi Rastu, Yata Papam Tati Pratiharimastu, Dvipare Chatushpare, Surashanti Rabhavatu. Achmanyam. Om Sarva Papaharam Divyam Gageyam Niramalam Jalam Achmanamaya Grihitam Purushottamam. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Prem Swarogni Devata Ki Jai. Awesome. Before we commence with our sermon for today, devotees, we offer prayers to the Lord Ganesh to remove any obstacles on our way, mental or physical, that may prevent us from learning the information that we're about to hear. We offer prayers to Mother Saraswati to provide us clarity of mind to turn this knowledge into wisdom. And we offer a prayer for our gurus who laid the path before us, that allow us to sit here today to learn from the scriptures. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabham Nirviganam Kurme Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada. Om Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhira Bhavatu Me Sada. Om Gurura Brahma Gurura Vishnu Gurura Deva Meshwara Gurura Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Devotees, last week in the Srimad Bhagavad Puran, we had heard in the last chapter, the first book, the following words: Bhagavatam Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam Puran, Bhagavatam Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam Puran, Bhagavatam Shri Bhagavatam Srimad Bhagavatam Puran, Bhagavatam Shri Bhagavatam Srimad Bhagavatam Puran, Bhagavatam Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam Puran. So, book 1, Canto. Canto is a book, essentially. Book 1, chapter 19. It's the last chapter of book 1. It took us, I think we started this in February, maybe? January, February. And we're only getting done with book 1. There's a lot of books, by the way. But chapter 19, we hear about the appearance of Sukadeva Goswami. Raja Parikshit is sitting down at the most southern end of the Ganges River, facing the northern and eastern direction, getting ready to relinquish his life. There was a curse that was put upon him, and now he's getting ready to relinquish his life. So Sukadeva Goswami, a young man, 16 years old, appears with this group of the saints and sages to address Raja Parikshit. And Raja Parikshit has a pretty simple question. He wants to know, for someone who's about to die, someone who's about to perish, how should they act? What are their qualities? What should they be like? Now, I want to preface the next part of this sermon with the fact that I don't want you to wait until death to start acting like this. Because you all tell me right now, when are you going to die? You don't know. Any minute, any second. I could walk out of this door and a meteorite would hit me. You never know. So, even though we're hearing about how someone should act prior to the time of them dying, just know that that prior time is any time of day. Any minute, any moment, any second. So he says, what is the duties of someone who's about to die? Please let me know. And that, devotees, we ended chapter 19, book 1 of the Srimad Bhagavad Puran. And it takes us into book 2. Book 2 is known as the Cosmic Manifestation. That is the title of the book, Cosmic Manifestation. and we enter into chapter 1. It's funny because entering into chapter 1 leads us in from the last chapter of the last book, in which we hear about creation. Now we hear about the cosmic manifestation. And chapter 1 is titled, The First Step in the Realization of God. Because we haven't really conceptualized what the steps to realizing God are. You think it's pretty simple. Just picture God. All right, picture infinity. Anybody do that right now? Can you picture infinity? I want you to picture a being with infinite eyes, ears, nose, mouths. A being that's complex in nature and unmanifest, unformed. A lot of us probably just picture flashing lights and blobs. That's what usually goes through my head. So it's hard to fathom that. So we have to take steps to realize God. Sri Sukha Goswami is now telling the sages, remember book 1, we talk about Sukha Goswami sitting in a forest talking to all the saints and sages. He says, this inquiry of yours, as he's relating the story, for the good of all people, is the best thing you can do, because the subject of study, O king, carries the approval of the transcendentalist and constitutes the supreme of all that is worth attention. O emperor, there are countless subject matters to hear about in human society that are of interest to those who, attached to their household life, are materially engrossed and are blind to the reality of the soul. So household homeowners, me, mom, dad, sister Priya, anybody who's owning a home, even kids, we're focused on certain things that aren't really the manifestation of God. We're focused on the worldly desires because we focus on the worldly things to make sure that we get by in the day by day. But we're blind to the reality of souls, our soul, if we only focus on those things. They spend their lives, O king, with sleeping during the night and making money and taking care of their family during the day, overly attached to the fallible allies of the body, the children, the wife, and everything there too. They, despite their experiences, do not see the finality of these matters. For that reason, O descendant of Bharata, he must be discussed, glorified, and remembered, who has the super soul, the supreme personality, the controller and vanquishing Lord, frees those who are of desire from their anxieties. All this analyzing and knowledge of yoga of one's particular name and how a person, after being bored, should attain the full awareness of the Supreme, in the end, only concerns the remembrance of Narayana, Bhagwan Shri Krishna. In general, it are the sages who, freed from material modes, having mastered the prescriptions and restrictions, O king, take pleasure in especially describing the glories of the Lord. None of us here have reached the level of saint. None of us here have reached the level of sage. None of us in this room are rishis. None of us, myself included. I'm a pundit. But I still have to focus on certain things. Who's going to pay my mortgage? When is it going to be done? Is my daughter healthy? Is my wife taken care of? Has my dog gone to the bathroom? Is she behaving at home? All these little material things cause me to stop focusing on God. So once we relinquish those things, where can we put our minds? On the constant thought of Bhagwan. Can you do that now? Somewhat. Are we expected to do it now? For those of us who are in this room who haven't relinquished everything. Is it our duty right now to do it? For some of us, maybe, sure. But not for all of us, unfortunately. Because we still have other duties. Does that make you a bad person? Does that make you adharmic, unrighteous? No. But now we're learning that there's things that we need to start practicing as we get towards the end of our lives. Or maybe as we get towards retirement. Do you think that once you're retired, you can just stop everything that you're doing and then move on to the next thing? Who here's retired already? Yeah. So when you got to retirement, was it just, okay, cool, I'm going to move on to doing not my job anymore? Well, Jack knows. But no, I'm asking as a true question for those of you who went to the retirement period. Was it easy just to transition to retirement? Was it? Very easy. For some folks, it's very easy. Some folks I hear it's not so easy. My mother-in-law's getting ready for retirement, and she goes, I don't know what I'm going to do without all my work in my life. She's a college professor. I always joke about how when these two retire, I don't know what they're going to do, because they work very hard. And what are they going to do when they don't have that work? You got to fill that void in with something. So now we have to start practicing, realizing that as we get towards relinquishing something in our life, we have to start focusing on something new. And you can't just do that right off the bat. You've got to practice to get into it. This story, called the Bhagavatam, consists of the essence of the Vedas and was by me at the end of the Dwapara Yuga, studied under the guidance of my father. Despite being fully accomplished in transcendence, the enlightened verses about the Lord's pastimes drew my attention, O saintly king, and thus I studied them. I will recite it to you because you, O goodness, are the most sincere devotee. They who respectfully dedicate their full attention to it very soon will realize an unflinching faith in Mukunda. For both those who crave free from piously exercising respect, and for yoga practitioners who are free from fear and doubts, O king, according to the tradition, repeating the name of the Lord constitutes the approved method. We take time to practice. We take time to learn. We have to dedicate our full attention to it. Without dedicating our full attention, we won't remember the scriptures. We won't remember the verses. We won't remember what we've learned. Coming to Mandir every Sunday and just hearing me talk serves you only this much benefit in your life. And why is that? It's once a week for 15 minutes. We're learning, not even, it's probably fine, this much in the scope of the knowledge that expands the universe. Learning this much right now. And then when we come back next week, how much do we remember from last week? Push your fingers together. The human mind can only remember at max 20% of what it's learned in one given period. And once you leave this room, the rest of the 80% gets forgotten. That's a psychological standard. That's proven. That's science. That's how the mind works. You're only going to remember 20% of what happens here. So unless we're fully dedicated to it, unless you're fully reading it every day and understanding it, sometimes we'll forget. And that's why we need a practice, because this is how much knowledge we're getting today, devotees. This is how much. What is use of spending one's years as ignoramus in this world without having this experience? The hour one deliberately spends in service of higher cause is the better one. The saintly kings cast aside everything when he knew that he had but a moment to live longer in this world, and thus experienced the full security of the Lord, or a member of the Kuru dynasty. Therefore, also your life's duration that is limited to 7 days should inspire you to perform everything that traditionally belongs to the rituals for a next life. Facing the end of one's life one should be free from the fear of death by cutting, with the help of the weapon of non-attachment, with one's desires and everything material associated with them. In pious self-control, leaving one's home behind, one should head for the sacred place and properly cleanse in solitude. Sit down in a position with accordance with the regulations. The mind should be turned to 3 sacred transcendental letters: A, U, M. Om. Focus on that. Regulating one's breath, one thus should get the mind under control so that the primary causes of the absolute spirit, Brahma, is not forgotten. This takes a lot of work. Why do you think we wait till the end of our lives to focus on this? Because we can't do it for the entirety of our lives. We still have obligations and duties we must perform. Now, for everybody in this room, there's going to come a time in your day where you get that dreadful news that you're going to learn that you're going to be passing away at any moment, any second, any day now. For some of us, we may not even get that notice. It may just happen. It may just happen. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But we've got to understand that when we're getting ready to move from this life to the next, we can't hold on to any attachments in this world, or else we won't attain liberation. And do you know what the biggest attachment I see people have is right when they're getting ready to pass, or maybe years before they're passed, or when they're in that phase, that state? It's a one word. I call it regret. We have regrets. How did we treat these people? How did we get to where we are today? What were the sacrifices we had to make? I regret this. I regret that. I regret how I treated my siblings, my parents, my children. Regret is very strong. It holds on to us. It drags us down. For the kids in the room, I've seen like memes and TikToks of this where it's like, I'm about to fall asleep thinking of something I did 10 years ago and then waking back up. There's a level of regret to that. We feel that. We understand that. And we wake up and we're like, God, I was dumb back then. We can't hold on to those things. We can't hold on to those feelings, those attachments. Because what happened in the past? Guess where it's going to stay? In the past. If it comes to catch up with you, that's because you let it catch up. That's because you let it affect you. Does it need to affect you? It shouldn't need to affect you. If somebody else brings it back up, let that be their sin. Let it affect them. Don't let it affect you. If somebody's mad at you for something you did in the past and they can't let go of it and they don't have detachment from it, let that be their sin. Let that be their issue, not yours. So we have to detach. We have to let go of everything. And then what do we have to do? We have to focus on Bhagwan 24/7 at all times. Read the scriptures and understand. And I'm going to ask you this. Who in this room is focused on Bhagwan 24/7, even while you sleep? Is he the first thing you think about when you wake up? Is he the last thing you think about when you go to sleep? No. Every single thing we do, we don't focus on Bhagwan necessarily. So, He's saying that the person who's about to move from this life to the next has given up everything and they're just focusing solely on Bhagwan. And they've detached from everything, including their regret. So here's something I want you to start practicing this week. And it's hard. Until the time you die, from today, I want you to practice this. Letting go of all of the regret in your life. It's so easy to say. In theory, it's so easy. In practice, immeasurably hard. Immeasurably hard. There's still little things, and even so, there's big things in my life that I've done in my past that I still regret to this day. And there are even little things that I regret to this day that I wish I hadn't done. Like, I was thinking about Bella. Bella's our dog the other day, and how we've been treating her, and how she's such a good dog. But I really wish when she was younger, I wasn't so strict with her. Because if I wasn't so strict with her, she'd probably be more of a, like, she is a snuggly dog, but she's not super snuggly. And she's like, don't touch me, I'm laying on my own. There's some people like that. Sue's like that. But I wish I had treated her with a lighter hand rather than my big, heavy Indian Guyanese hand, you know? I was very strict with her. So there's some things that I still regret to this day, and they're minor things. And Bella's a great dog now. If you see her today, she's vastly different than she was a year ago. She's no longer the hyperactive, chewy, jumpy, zoomy little German Shepherd she was. She's not this big girl who just lays there and protects her little sister, snuggles her mom, walks the two of them, makes sure nothing happens to them while I'm gone at home, from home. So there's things that I wish I had done differently. But at the end of the day, the current day, is there anything wrong with her? No. Is there anything wrong with our family? No. Not at all. So we've got to learn to let go. We continue to hear more. There's another, we just got halfway through. 15, there's 38 verses totality in chapter 1. I'm going to leave you on verse 15, actually verse 18 for now. 3 sacred letters, AUM, regulate your breath at one time. Your other bit of homework is to talk about breathing. And we've talked about this before. Start breathing when you do certain tasks. I want you to begin regulating your breathing. And how do you regulate breathing? It's not the simplest thing to do, but let me give you a way to start off with. Take a match, or not a match, I'm sorry. Take a candle, light it. Don't use a match. We talked about that earlier. Light a candle, put it in front of you, not too close to your face, and I want you to open your mouth and inhale and exhale. And I want you to try to regulate and control your breathing so that flame isn't flickering back and forth too much. You think it's impossible. It's possible. We practice that a lot. I practice that a lot. Used to have tremors. And my vocal teacher, and my tabla teacher, Pitam and Prithvi, they started teaching me breathing techniques, and that was one of the things they did. And how often do I tremble nowadays? Unless I'm like really fatigued, my hands really don't shake that often. Unless I'm really stressed out, I don't really have essential tremors. Essential tremors means I would be doing nothing. My hands would just be doing this the entire time. But I've breathed. I've learned to control that. So I want you to learn to inhale and exhale. And as you exhale, try to control your breath so that flame isn't moving all around. And then I want you to increase the speed of your breathing and see how much harder that is for you to control the breath and how hard it is to control that flame in front of you. So probably a good 7 to 8 inches from your face, right here. You can see from the camera. And just inhale, exhale. And control where your breath is going, how you're breathing. And then we'll talk about more steps to realizing God when we come back next Sunday for our regular Sunday morning satsang. Prem se Bolo Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki jai. Dr. Danny? Hold on 1 second, because Dr. Danny is about to say something, and then we'll get to you, Auntie Drew.
Test. In keeping with one of the topics of your pravachan, I would like to add a little bit to it with a bhajan. I don't sing very often here, but I'd like to do this one if you'd have a little, give me a little patience. And I'll give a little bit of a translation. It's quite long, and I'm only going to do a couple of stanzas. But one of them, the beginning and the refrain of the song says, life is like a rented house. One day you will have to change, and when death will come, call you out, you will have to get out of that house, in simple words. And a little bit more of it says, when happiness will be distance from you, you will have to be a portrait of grief such time will come, you will have to walk on what seems like thorns. And it goes on. But Pandit, well, she'll accompany me on Dadra, but my scale will be over here. जिंदगी एक राय का घर है, एक न एक दिन बदलना पड़ेगा। मौत जब तुझको आवाज देंगी, मौत जब तुझको आवाज देंगी, घर से घर, घर से बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा, घर से बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा। दिन बदलना पड़ेगा, मौत जब तुझको आवाज देंगी, मौत जब तुझको आवाज देंगी, घर से बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा, घर से बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा। जाएंगे जब तुझसे खुशियाँ, गम से सांचे में डलना पड़ेगा। रुत जाएंगे जब तुझसे खुशियाँ, गम से सांचे में डलना पड़ेगा। वक्त ऐसा भी आएगा नादान, वक्त ऐसा भी आएगा नादान, तुझको घाटों पे चलना पड़ेगा, तुझसे घाटों पे चलना पड़ेगा। जिंदगी एक राय का घर है, एक न एक दिन बदलना पड़ेगा, एक न एक दिन बदलना पड़ेगा। बाप बेटी ये भाई भतीजे, तेरे साथी है जीते जी के। बाप बेटे ये भाई भतीजे, तेरे साथी है जीते जीते। अपने आंगन से उठना पड़ेगा, अपने आंगन से उठना पड़ेगा, अपनी चौखट से डलना पड़ेगा, अपनी चौखट से पलना पड़ेगा। जिंदगी एक राय का घर है, एक न एक दिन बदलना पड़ेगा। मौत तुझको को आवाज देगी, मौत जब तुझको आवाज देगी, घर से बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा, घर से बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा, घर से बाहर निकलना पड़ेगा।
Auntie Drew asked what kind of candle and more details on that. So don't get like the Bed Bath and Body ones where it's like inside of the big metal jar because you won't be able to see the flame. My suggestion is a tea candle would be the best thing. They're very cheap too. You just put it on a little stand, make sure it's kind of at face level. If you want to put it on a few books, you can, and just breathe in and out. But make sure it's about 7 to 8 inches away. If it's too far, you won't have enough effect. If it's too close, you've made it too hard for yourself. Right? About 7 to 8 inches away is ideal. Put it on some books, and that should be good. Small tea candle. That way you're only and don't do it for more than maybe 5 minutes. I guarantee you, breathing is a hard exercise. If you do it for too long without too much practice, you're gonna pass out. That it happens, right? So we don't want to do that. All right, devotees. At this time, may we all please stand for final arti.
Om Jai Jagadisha Hare Swami Jai Jagadisha Hare Bhakta Jano ke Sankata Bhakta Jano ke Sankata Jana me dura kare Om Jai Jagadisha Hare Om Jai Jagadisha Hare
This time, devotees, I want you to join together with me as you go ahead and clasp your hands and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, relax your spine, drop your shoulders, relax your neck, your forehead, your entire body. With your eyes closed, devotees, I want you to focus on the form of Bhagwan that's most pleasing to you. One that helps you focus, one that helps you concentrate, and join together with me as we chant our closing prayers. Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu Sarvesham Purunam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Om Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Bhagabhagmu Om Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktahinam Janardanam Yatya Pujatam Maya Deva Paripurnam Dharastu Me Papoham Papu Karmaham Papo Atma Papo Sambhava Trahimam Pundari Kaksham Sarva Papo Haro Hari Om Tvameva Matasta Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Mritanyamaya Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Devotees, bow your please bow. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Om Hyau Shantir Antariksham Om Shantir Prithvi Shantir Apa Shantir Aushadheya Shantir Vanaspati Shantir Vishwadeva Shantir Brahma Shantir Sarvingam Shantir Shanti Deva Shanti Sama Shanti Redhi Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Prem se bolo Ganesh Bhagwan ki, Prem se bolo Adi Shakti Durga Mata ki, Prem se bolo Vishnu Bhagwan ki, Prem se bolo Shiva Shankar Bhagwan ki, Prem se bolo Shiv Shakti Mandir ki, Prem se bolo Sanatana Dharma ki. I think Jack got to a point where he realized, oh no, this is too high, but I got to dedicate to still going higher. So, good job, Jack. Devotees, with this, we've come to the end of our Sunday morning satsang, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here in person, and for those of you who are tuning in via YouTube, which I have not checked, and I'll check right now. Just as I'm pulling this up, I don't have any announcements in terms of calendar updates, actually, to Auntie Zandra, who's watching, and to the other 10 folks who are watching Sita Ram. No calendar updates for you all. We don't have any other events coming up the rest of this year. We are working on the Mandir calendar for next year in terms of sign-ups. Dad, do you know when we're going to have the physical copies of the... Okay. For the physical copies that we usually give out every year, we don't have those ready yet. They're printing them right now. So once we have them available for everybody for collection, we'll let you know, tell you about it here. We'll maybe send out an email. I don't know. But we'll let you know once we have those calendars here in person. I honestly don't have any announcements. The only fun... so I have been reading a lot of the scriptures this week. Poor Andy has had an ear infection in both ears, so she's been absolutely miserable. So she stayed up pretty late this week. So I would just hold her in my arms, and then she likes to look at my phone as I scroll through. So what I did was because all the stuff that I have is now digital and online. So I sit down and I read to her. I don't know if she understands or not. She reaches out for the phone. So I was able to catch up on the Bhagavad Puran this week, and she was flipping through my phone, and it shot over to like YouTube Shorts, and there was a little dia as part of the YouTube short. So that's where the whole candle breathing idea came from, because I did that such a long time ago. So today's sermon, sponsored by Andrea Biadari. But she's doing better. She is much better. But it's been a good week because we've not only been able to bond a little bit more, but we all got to sit down and read through some of the scripture. So if you ever have your downtime, it's as simple as pulling up your phone and reading through. It's like looking at your Kindle. Don't go to YouTube. Don't go to TikTok. Don't go to Instagram. Pull up something and read. Just 2 verses. That's not going to hurt you. But with that being said, devotees, we will be having service for the rest of the year. We will not be having service on December 25th. That is a Sunday. That is Christmas Day. So we won't be having service here. And I'm still inquiring with a number of folks. And I'll be texting a few of you throughout the week about January 1st. That is technically the first service of the year, but it's also New Year's Day. So I just want to make sure that we have enough people that are going to be here instead of it being like 2 or 3 folks, because I want to make sure that the first service of the year is important for the community. So I'll be texting a few of you and calling a few throughout the week just to check to see what participation is going to be like on that day. So that one is to be disclosed, is to be determined, but we will not be having service on the 25th of December. But for the rest of this year, unless something catastrophic happens, knock on wood or whatever, we will be having service for the rest of the year. So again, thank you all for being here this week. It is supposed to be getting down to freezing temperatures, so if you haven't done so and you don't remember to do so, put your faucets on drip. You don't want exploding pipes. I've seen that before. It's terrible. You all have a safe, happy, healthy week, and I'll see you next Sunday for a regular Sunday morning satsang. Jai Sita Ram, everybody. Will I be passing the microphone over to our president in training and our president in training for a few more announcements? No? Okay. All right, well, I'll let the president yell at the president in training because you know he's going to do that while he gives a few more announcements.
What's the matter with your fingers? What happened to your fingers? Jackie bit him? Okay, Sita Ram, everyone. For those of you that know Liz, she's the sister of Rita. Her son in his 30s is very ill. And so as you go about your daily business, please say a prayer for him and the family for his speedy and full recovery. But he's very, very ill right now, so please do that. Pray, did any one of you celebrated anything in your household? Because I didn't have my book with me. Tomorrow, well, we're not going to do premature. So what you could, who? Yeah. So tomorrow, next Sunday, both of you will have to come here so we can celebrate your birthday, okay? So so we'll celebrate your wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary. Only 20 years old? You got a long way to catch up, man. Yeah. So we'll sing an anniversary song for the 2 of you, and we'll celebrate your birthday. Yeah, find one or sing a nice song in celebration of your anniversary.